In this mindset and manifestation lives, I talk about the power of our mind, the power of our perception, how we can change our mind so we can change our lives, how everything is mind. This is all scientific now. It doesn't even need any argument. But people have known this for thousands of years. And for the majority of people, this information has been suppressed for just as long, for reasons we shall not discuss here because it's irrelevant. So, if you don't have the life you want, if you don't have the results you want, if you'd like to live a different life, there's a few things to keep in mind, okay? Number one, it's never too late. That's number one. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made so far. None of this matters, okay? What matters is that you have a clear intention and sufficient power in your energy system to project this intention forward. You can have a clear intention, but if you don't have this power, which is developed via discipline, if you don't have this power, it's not going to project forward. And they tell you, oh, just watch Neville. Neville says, just imagine this thing and it will come to pass. Yes. I wish it was that simple. It's not that simple. You need the power behind it to project into the formless substance that surrounds us. Some people call that the ether, the information structure, the matrix of information, not the Matrix the movie, matrix of information that surround us. And if you can't project coherent intention in it, you're not going to be successful. So I just want to make sure you guys are with me. It's usually people from my group that join these lives, but if you're not part of my group, if you just want to stay and listen, you're welcome to. We're doing a 60-day challenge in my bio. If you want to join, my group is on Facebook also. The links are all in my bio. We're about 180 people consistently in the group. But thousands of people have done the 60-day challenge, and I hope you're going to get the benefit of it because people do it over and over again. Now, if you guys get an email from me, it's not from me. I don't email. I don't send mass emails. I don't send any marketing. I don't advertise in any way. And so if you get a soliciting email from me, it's not from me. Be careful with any soliciting emails that you get anyways. The majority of them are scams. I get in here like every Monday at 12 p.m. We do a live on mindset and manifestation. I take your questions and I talk about the questions that come in that are kind of relevant to take everyone's game further than it is right now. So I've been getting a lot of questions about health lately. And, I've talked before how, I got a lot of inspiration from attending some Dr. Joe Dispenza seminars, etc. And of course, he's known for healing and people go there for healing and he has certain practices. People generally ask, what meditations, what practices, what have you been doing? I want you to understand that when you embark on doing this work is to heal or to bring anything forward, but especially to heal. You have to completely understand you don't know the how, and you're never going to know the how. You know the how if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, I'm going to give you this chemical and this chemical is going to react this way with this cell, and then it's going to make the cell do this and that. That's the only way we know the how, if we do it from 3D. When you heal your body via this work with 5D, you're not doing any healing. Please clarify this in your mind, because when you're thinking, I have to heal, I am now healing, I am now doing a meditation to heal myself, that implies work. That implies it's your subconscious kicks in and says, you don't know how to do that. You're not a doctor. You're not a guru. You're just a person who lives in the world. What do you mean you're healing right now? You can't do that. So your subconscious is always like that, and it will always prompt you that way. And the only way to get rid of it is to tell it, great, I don't know how to heal. And it's not my job to know how to heal. It's not my job. I am only looking for the information structure around my body that I was born with, that's set to perfection, that's by design perfect. And I'm just looking to reset to that. And once I'm reset to that, it's that information's job to go in there inside my energetic field and give instructions to all the cells in my body to heal. So if you're doing any kind of healing journey, I want you to please understand that this is how you need to think of it. You think of it as you're not doing anything. You're just looking for coherence. You're looking for coherence in your energy system. And, this is to address, because I don't want to go too deeply into, you definitely should see your doctor and follow medical advice. But if you want to do these practices in your mind, please seek for your natural, God-given perfection, creator-given perfection, designer-given perfection that we all have in our body and that we have lost because of the chaos that exists in this world. That's what it is. Let me see. Where's my quote from? I got this a few years ago from Simon's in Montreal. I think it's so funny, right? He has this thing, but it's reversible. So on reverse is black. I thought it was really cool. Do you always use the 60-day sheet, or can you use a journal? I don't know how to answer that, because I sell the 60-day sheet and I really believe it's inspired work, and we've put in a lot of work and energy as a group into it. So you can do whatever you want to do. We here in my group, we use the 60-day challenge. It's a one-time purchase, and we poured the way we do the affirmations for one another. In my opinion, that has a major effect on your manifestation game. What if you're feeling resistance to something you need to do to improve your life? Remember, your intuition will always know what to do, Alexa. And if you're feeling resistance to something that you know you need to do, that simply tells you you're ignoring your spirit prompts. That's all that is. And I was actually talking about this in the group coaching that I had this Saturday, and somebody else asked a more specific question around the same subject. She knows exactly what she needs to do, but she doesn't want to do it. You can definitely choose. Thank you. You can definitely choose to live a fake life forever, right? It's not a problem. It's not a problem to the system. That could be your choice. But the spirit will always tell you what you need to do in order to achieve your self-actualization, to get on the path of self-actualization. So if you're feeling resistance, you have to decide who's going to win, your spirit or your existing programming. You have to decide that. Nobody else can decide for you. It's not easy to have free will, guys. I talk about that also. You think it's so beautiful that you have free will, but then you have to exercise it. You have to make the tough decisions. You have to let go of existing structures that need to crumble. To enter 5D, all you have to do is Kundalini breathing. I don't do any Kundalini breathing. There's many, many ways to access the 5D. There's many ways to access the 5D, and you should do the practice that works for you, or you should circulate your practices to see which one works for you. So I don't do any of the Eastern methods. I don't do, I'm all about the mind. I'm interested in exploring the contents of my mind. So I want you guys to do a little exercise right now. If you're on this live and you're interested in this work, I want you to imagine, to look around you, just like I'm looking around myself right now, whatever I see in front of me, and imagine you are actually right now in this second inside your mind. Because these are the contents. These are the physical contents, the physical expression of the contents of your mind. So if I am inside my mind right now, and what I see, I woke up inside my mind and I'm looking around, what are the things I like? What are the things I don't like? What are the things that I'm afraid of? What are the things I want more of? And this way, I'm not asking from the world. I'm not asking from the system. I'm really feeling a sense of ownership now, a sense of ownership and responsibility. And then when I'm looking around, I'm like thinking that not only is this me, is this an expression of me? Is this what they mean by this is you pushed out? It's an expression of both my positives and my limitations. It's an expression of everything. And if I want something else, I just got to go through this contents and be like, what has generated these contents? Like it's a crazy exercise. If you do this a few times a day, you'll connect more and more with this idea and with the 5D place from where you need to effectuate these changes. Joe Dispenza now has such a darkness around him, says somebody. I've heard this opinion from several other people. I've gone to 2 seminars of his. The first seminar was very profound for me. It was October 2022. And then I've gone to another one this June. But to tell you the truth, I'm not craving going to yet another one. Like, the second one did not have the same impact on me that the first one did. And, you know, I did sense that there was a bit more of a darkness. I don't know if it's to him though. What I find there's a darkness around is the people who go to see Dr. Joe Dispenza are sick. They're physically sick. Like, the 90% of the audience is there to heal. And so there's a lot of that negative energy that carries with fear, with a group of people that are getting there to get something out of it, right? I just went for knowledge, for, you know, just to see how I feel and what have you. But I think when you say there's darkness, it's not necessarily to him. It might just be with the whole setup he has there. What are the questions to ask to find the ideal profession for us? Whatever your passions are. What would I be doing for free? If I was a billionaire today, what would I be doing for free? Right? What is it that I would be doing every single day? And how can I build a profession around that specific thing that I like to do? If I like to show up on lives and talk about this topic or another topic or a business topic, how can I turn this into a business or into a job where I would be recognized for this? What is it you'd be doing for free if you were rich? You know, everybody thinks I'd be sitting on the beach all day, but you all see all this rich, they never quit what they're doing. And they never, because their passion. Like, what does Elon Musk still do Tesla? Why does, you know, Jeff Bezos still do Amazon? Why did they? That's what they do. That's what they would do with their billions of dollars. Nobody wants to actually sit on the beach. The only people who want to do that are poor people who are overworked in a 9-to-5 that they hate. You'll sit on the beach for like 6 months and then you'll be like, what's next? I have no purpose. I have no meaning. Let's see what else we got here. Sorry. Mona, I brainstormed on my old identity and my new, and it was so amazing. You mean after Saturday's group coaching session in our group? Yeah. Yeah, you should have done that a long time ago, Lisa. Like we talked about, everybody should be doing it. I should be doing it the way I described. That's the thing. I have no desire to do anything. For now, you have no desire to do anything. But if you do the mental exercise where you've been rich for a while, you'll see the rich don't just sit around. The ones that just sit around start drinking and doing drugs. I would be creating. What would you be creating? Should I consider dating someone that replies with one word? Guys. Some of these questions are already answered within the question. It's a definite no, right? Why would you consider dating this person? When you consider dating a person, as a woman, you're investing your most valuable asset in this person. Does anybody know what our most valuable asset is? Women. That's how you have to think about, you know, this whole thing. Like, when I am dating someone, I'm investing my most valuable asset. Yes, our time. And your next question should be, what am I getting in return for this investment? Because believe me, when they're investing anything in you, they're asking the same thing. When a man approaches you, he approaches you because he wants something from you. Do you see men approaching women and being like, oh, are you a single mom? Let me write you a check for $10,000 and be on your way. You know, take care of yourself. God bless. Do you see that happening? So basically, when they approach you, they want something from you. In exchange for whatever they want from you, they are approaching you to see what is it going to take to get it. Right? If it's going to take one word, they're going to start with one word. If you don't reply to one word, maybe he's going to put in 2 words if he really wants you. If he doesn't put in 2 words, then you weren't going to get anything for your time investment. It's like, it's not even a question. Believe me, no man approaches you out of the kindness of his heart because he wants to do something for you. They don't want to do something for you. They want something from you. They need to figure out what it's going to cost them. Whether it's money, whether it's their attention, whether how much time they need to spend on you, whatever it's going to take. They're trying to figure out what's it going to take for them to get what they want from you. Wish I knew that 15 years ago. It's never too late. It's never too late. People get married in their 60s and 70s. Like, are you guys kidding me? Like right now, there's more dating of people in the 60s, in the 60 age range than, like people in their 20s are kind of giving up. Don't talk to yourself like this. I was so stupid not making my own demands. You didn't know any better at that time. And now you know. Okay? You didn't know any better and now you know. So you're going to do it differently. All right. I want to get into some of the things that I want to talk about. Remember the whole premise of this. You have access to the potentialities of many, many different timelines. You just have to select very clearly and with intention where you are going in life. Okay, so here is like the basic steps. Set an intention. Know what you want. Know what you want. It sounds so simple, but people don't know what they want. Know what you want. I want this in my career, this in my love life, this in my body, this in my social life, this in my life in general. This is what I want. Whatever it is that your mind thinks is possible for you to have. But that should be pretty much anything, because right now you've observed people having it. Maybe back in the 1970s, maybe you didn't see someone your age, your skin tone, your this, your that, having that specific things. But now, any age, any background you are, any height you are, anything you are, there's a person just like you who has what you want, which means you can have exactly what it is you want. So set your intention very clearly. Then from this intention, stay with me now, there's two things that are going to branch down that you have to do in your everyday life. The first thing is you need to practice mindfulness. Where are you in every single moment? You don't have to do this every second, but a few times a day you need to wake up from this dream state that you're in which you think what's unfolding around you is what reality is. And you'd be like, hey, what am I doing here? What is this taking me closer or further to my goal? If you are texting a man with a one-word texts, but your goal is to get married, is what you're doing right now taking you closer or further to your goal? What do you think? So this is practicing mindfulness. Where's your mind? Is your mind in the past? Is your mind thinking about, what happened to you in your childhood? Where's your mind in general during the day? Or is your mind anxiety about the future? In 2 months, I won't be able to pay my rent. In 3 months, etc., etc. Mindfulness. Where are you? Number 2, practice emotional resilience. What does emotional resilience mean on a day-to-day? You can't be triggered by 3D. You can't let 3D rattle you. Emotional resilience. Mindfulness, where am I right now? Emotional resilience. The things that bothered you 6 months ago should not bother you now if you have effectuated any growth in your life. So I want you to think about this. If the same things bother you about the world that they did a year ago, 2 years ago, you haven't grown at all. How to see the glass full, not only the empty glass. The balance of an event. Every event is an advantage. If you stick very clearly to your ultimate goal that you have in your mind, so let's say your goal is, I want to get married, and then 2 of your dates, your last 2 dating experiences have ghosted you and have rejected you, it's an advantage. Why? Because those people, the universe selected them so they don't waste your time. Okay? They didn't like you, but they could have wasted another 2 months of your life. You're like, great. They weren't the husband material, and that's what I want right now. I want a husband. If this guy didn't call me back, he wasn't going to marry me anyways. So it's great. It's everything that happens an advantage. You lost your job? Great. You're one step closer to that point where you wanted to be anyways, because you couldn't have done that on top of this job that you hated. For my romantic premise, says Lisa, what if I write to be ready and open for an emotional connection? But that's not a goal. That's just something you decide within yourself. You're the one who has to make yourself ready and open for an emotional connection. See, the problem is not that you're not ready and open, is that you don't yet know either what matches you or how to enforce boundaries. That's what it is, right? Because who isn't? Every normal human being in this world wants to love and to be loved. Unless you're a psychopath, what you're looking for in a connection with another person is to love and to be loved. You want somebody who's worth your love and who loves you back. No? Am I wrong? I think that's what every normal human being wants. So if that's what you want, you're already open to it. The problem is you've shut down now because it's been so long of hurt, of people stepping over you, of you not enforcing your boundaries, of you not choosing yourself first, not being like, hang on a second, this interaction with this man, it's hurting me. It's hurting me, right? And then so people always say, oh, but he's a good guy otherwise, other than this, other than the fact that, we're talking also on the group coaching. If a guy has 3 small kids and 90% of his time is for his kids, because his wife's dead or something, what does it mean to you that he's a good father? What value add does it add to your life, right? Like a guy could be a great father to his 3 kids, a great son to his older parents. He's always busy with their appointments and between the ages of 70 and 90. Hey, in the weekend, he's volunteering at the shelter. And I'm looking from outside and I'm like, what a great human being. Of course, I can be here looking at him and admiring him. What a great human being. But now, is it a good idea for me to bring him into my life and put him on top of me so I can form an emotional connection with him and he has time for that for 2 hours every 2 weeks? Is that a good idea just because he is a good human being? Let's think about this. So I don't want to hear this. I want to be open for a connection. You're open today. But what you need to do is enforce boundaries. Stop spending time with good guys who are not good for you. They will always hurt you. They will always, whether they're good guys or bad guys, life will be lived on their terms for them. And you can go along for that ride and get hurt, or you can start defining your own terms. It's okay to have an open heart. It's okay. It just has to be with the people that meet your needs. Otherwise, you can just stay single and keep being open. He will have no choice but to come. The right one I'm talking about. The right one, right? Because you're staying in this vibration. I'm ready. And I'm cutting. The universe will keep sending you here. This is what matches your identity. First, it will send you a guy just like the previous guy. Why? Because you're not that good. You haven't switched enough to the new identity. But now you're going to give a different instruction into the universe. You're going to say, no, this type of man may have worked for me last year, but this year he's not good enough. I've changed. Take him back. Forget it. Block, delete. Hey, it's not going to work out. Thank you for the date. You start rejecting for a change. How about that? Right? The second guy the universe is going to send you will still not be good enough because you're not going to shift from doormat to princess overnight by doing 10 affirmations. It will be a process. Okay? It will be a test after test after test until the universe is like, oh my God, no, she really means this. She really means she'll only take this. So in order for me, the universe, not to exert this much energy into bringing her 50 different guys, because remember, the universe is always up for expending the least amount of energy possible. Every system is doing everything with the least amount of energy expansion possible. So since you're rejecting, but still calling in, and the universe has to deliver, eventually be like, I might as well give her a match for that, because then I'm gonna need to keep expanding energy. That's what's happening in the background. Not that you need to understand that, but you need to understand that you're not gonna be able to switch doormat to princess overnight. That's number one. And number two is that you're going to have to reject everything that doesn't fit into the box that you've defined for the new you. It's going to be hard. This is not going to be easy because you might like some of these guys. Your old identity will cling. It's like, but he's so much better than my ex, and I gave my ex 4 years. This is a good guy. But he doesn't have a key element that you really need to be happy long term. Same thing applies to the way we allow money to come. Let's talk about money a little bit, because we do talk about money manifesting. And here's what I want everybody to understand. Does everybody understand that money isn't real? I'm not as a concept as me, fantasizing here and talking about manifestation. Does everybody really understand that the money, not that it's energy. I'm talking about the actual money, the banking system. Does everybody understand that it's not real? One person says absolutely. Okay, I'm going to explain it a little bit. Before, money used to be backed by gold. So if a person had $1 million, that means they actually had $1 million worth of gold. If a country had $500 trillion in GDP, gross domestic product, it means that money was backed by the gold that country has had. This hasn't been the case since the 1970s. By the way, that's why money used to actually be gold and silver, right? Back in the day, right? If you think of a Roman coin, its value was in a coin itself. The coin was not just a symbol. The coin was the value, right? So what happened is all that has changed. And since early 1970s, we changed to a fiat currency, which means the government can decree laws in place that increase or decrease the supply of the total amount of money that exists in every country. You guys understanding that? Is everybody understanding that? So money is not backed by gold. What is it backed by? What is it backed by? Why do we use money? It's backed by a concept, right? Do you guys understand? It's not nothing. It's backed by the trust and the confidence you have in the government that issues it. That's why I don't take pesos when I get paid. I don't accept pesos because I don't have enough trust and confidence in the government that issues pesos or some other random currency. I have my trust and confidence in the government that issues US dollars, Canadian dollars, pounds, UK pounds. That's where my trust is. You understand? So this is what it's backed by. If you trust the government of a certain country, you trust its currency. That's it. It's a belief. Exactly. It's a belief. Now, how do they generate more money into the 3D system? Does everybody understand how more money is generated into the system? When I say the supply is infinite and the money, like how does more money get introduced in the system? Now, in cases of emergency, indeed, they can print more money like they did during COVID, right? They just printed more money, throw more paper in the machine. Yeah, they can actually put regulations in place where they print more money, but they can't really do that on a day-to-day basis. So on a day-to-day basis, the way they create more money is via debt, via our debt. So when I go, loans at the bank. So when I go to the bank and I say, I need $1 million, and let's say I have the income for them to say, okay, you get $1 million loan. When they give me $1 million to buy a house, how much money do you think they have to have in order to give me $1 million? You would think, logically, if you come to me and ask me for $1 million loan, I would need to have $1 million to give it to you, to loan it to you. But how much do you think the bank needs to have in order to give me a $1 million loan? Does anybody know? 25%? 10%. 10%. They need to have 100,000. For every 100,000 they have, they can give out $1 million in loan. So now, when they give me $1 million in loan, they have $100,000 and they created $900,000. Do you understand that? They created in a second by putting my name as a collateral on something and my income as a collateral. They created $900,000 into the system. That's just one person. Imagine when somebody goes there and they borrow $100 million, $1 billion, whatever money they're playing when governments borrow from governments. So it's not backed by anything. It was the original pyramid scheme. It's very important that everybody who wants to manifest money understands this, because otherwise, these are the rules that are in your mind. These are the paradigms. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for money. Money is hard to obtain, or you need to have assets to have money. You need to have money is literally generated into the system out of nothing. Now, at my income level, okay, I have a business, I have a 3D business, I have, I pay tax at, I'm in Canada, 52%. I'm taxed 52% of my income, okay? That's neither here nor there. How much do you think somebody like Elon Musk or somebody like who, has one of these shares in one of these public companies that is there, how much do you think they're taxed on their personal income? I'm not talking about their business. How much do you think they're taxed? Hello? They're taxed zero. I'm going to tell you zero. I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Also legally. I'm going to tell you why. So you start a company. Let me just unroll. It's very important that you guys understand these concepts. Let's say somebody starts a company and says, Mona, come on board, join this, but I can't pay you a salary. And come on board and I will go public with this company within a year or two. You're going to work really hard and I'm going to give you 100 shares of my company instead, which are now worth, let's say they already gone public. They're worth $2 a share. So I'm thinking, he's going to give me, not 100 shares. So if it's worth $2 a share, and let's say I want a salary of $200,000 for joining this company, they say I can't pay you with money, but I'm going to give you 100,000 shares, right? Which are worth at $2 a share, approximately that. So what's going to happen is at the end of the year, my work and his work and everybody's work in the company has made these shares go to $10 a share. Now, for my 1 year of work, I now earned $1 million because I didn't take the payout. I took the shares. So I still have the shares. With these shares, I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to say, hey, bank, I have 100,000 shares in this company. They're worth $1 million. I need a loan against it for $500,000. The bank will say, no problem. We'll hold your shares as a collateral. Here's a loan at low interest rate, 3%. For half of that, $500,000. Now, do I need to pay taxes on my loan? When I take a loan for $500,000, do I need to pay taxes on it? Yes or no? No, of course not. There's no tax on that. So now, instead of taking a salary for $200,000, I took 100,000 shares, against which at the end of the year, I took a loan for $500,000. There's no tax. Yeah, but the interest is not 50% like it would be on my salary. So me taking a loan, you're saying there's interest for 500,000 at 5% interest is different than paying taxes on it for $250,000 in taxes, right? Because if I earn an income of 500,000 in Canada, I pay $250,000 in taxes, right? So this is why Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes, because he has all these shares. So he goes to the bank and says, okay, I'm going to put the shares as a collateral. Right now today I think they're worth $250 a share. Okay, $250 a share. If in 2 years he's doing the robo machine, what have you, the self-driving car, they might be worth double that. He's taking all these loans at very low interest rate. And the bank is just producing this money and giving it to him. He never pays taxes on his personal income, and that's what he spends because he's working in increasing the value of the shares. So there's always more room to take more loans. That's why the rich don't pay taxes, just so you understand. You can also do this. You can go to a company and say, you don't need to pay me a salary. I'm going to take some shares. If you know for a fact that in a year, those shares will increase dramatically. Working class used to think it was all about the actual money and not the debt. Yeah. Listen, it's never about the actual money. There's no actual money. That's why Elon Musk doesn't mind taking a debt. And none of them do. They all operate on debt where there's no taxes. No taxes payable. Yeah, you really need to listen to this and really understand how money works in 3D. before you can manifest from 5D. Because if you manifest, this is what happens to all the lottery winners. You can manifest a lottery win and it's all gone like this because you don't know what to do with it, because you don't understand money. You don't understand what to do with it, where to put it, where to lock it, how to live off the interest. You don't know. We have no financial literacy. Most people, they keep us this way. This should be basic education, grade 10, grade 11. Nobody should graduate high school without understanding this, without understanding what happens when you go to the bank to take a loan. In grade 12, you're absolutely ready. Let's see. If you don't get a salary, how would you pay back the loan? So you pay back the loan with the loan. So I would take out, so from the shares that I'm putting as a collateral for $1 million, I would take out 500,000 and not spend 500,000 and slowly monthly pay for it. But that means I'm working to increase the value of my shares. So next year I'm going to go and ask for more. Eventually it comes due. But between now and then, my $2 a share, okay? If I bought like 10 Amazon shares when they were like $2 a share. Actually, my parents bought them for me because I was young. And you know, like now they're worth like 500. Like, anyways, it's not a lot of money, right? But I'm saying if you bought it then at $2 a share and now they're like $500 a share. If you bought 10,000 of them at $2, you only put in 20,000. But now they would be worth 500,000. No, not 500,000, $5 million. Now they would be worth $5 million, 5 zeros, right? After 500. Now they would be worth $5 million. So, you know, I can keep increasing the value of my loan against these shares. Now, eventually I will need to sell them, but I won't need to sell. Elon Musk doesn't need to sell it for generations. That's how much space there is in there. I want to understand this money system better. Guys, there is you know those books, that series, it's called For Dummies, and they have all sorts of books like taxation for dummies and accounting for dummies and what have you. I'm gonna look up a book that I can recommend to my like whole group about understanding money overall. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, I mean, like that's a high school book. I read that book in high school. You know, that's when I decided I didn't want to work for a salaried, like per hour salary. You know, never sell your time for money. Like not on an hourly thing. It's still better to do it on a 9-to-5 thing than an hourly thing. Yeah, For Dummies, like the series For Dummies. They have everything like For Dummies, you know, sewing for dummies or anything, right? But if you know nothing, you should start with that. By the way, financial literacy is free these days. All you gotta know is what to look for. But you can take courses online. You can watch YouTube videos on investing, on everything for free. If I won the lottery today, depending how much you would win, but I would think like, let's say I win the jackpot in Canada, which is like $50 million. Out of that, a minimum of 10 million I would put on in a government bond. I would only pay back like 3 or 4% interest, but I would lock it for 10 years. In 10 years, that every year that's producing 3%. So that's producing 400,000, but I can't touch it for 10 years. In 10 years, I'll see what I did with the other 40 million. If I lost it all, it's okay. But if I didn't lose it all, hey, I'm going to lock this for another 10 years and keep living off the 400,000. That's why every lottery winner should do this upfront. They should do like half of their winnings should be in a government bond fixed. Can't touch it for 10 years at 3 to 4%. How would you live 1 year with only the not shades shares in a company? How would I live? Obviously, you have to have financial backing. So you would not be able to do this if you're responsible for all of your expenses. You should live on your savings. You should live on your spouse's income. Anyways, whatever you make month to month should not be the sole source of income. Ideally, not. If it is now, don't beat yourself up over it. Just know that you can change it. I don't know why a lottery winner wouldn't hire a financial advisor. A lot of lottery winners have never dealt with them. They don't trust them, you know? But the majority of them actually don't. They can afford it, of course they should afford it. Some do. Sometimes you don't agree with the advice. A lot of lottery winners have the attitude of, life is short, you know? Like, I better enjoy it. I never had anything, and now I'm gonna have all these things. You just made me realize my next goal is for my job to be my spare source of income. Absolutely. For every woman, it should be your spare source of income. You should not be covering your own expenses if you're in a marriage or relationship. Okay, now, I'm not saying you should be living off your parents, but that's a conversation for another time. The way I think about things. Yeah, it's not real. So you got to understand in 3D why it's not real. Once you understand why it's not real, and that really they're using you, like I'm one person. If I needed $1 million for a loan for my house, they literally created 900,000 off of me alone. So now start multiplying that to see how much money these banks actually make, how much income they generate, and who does it ultimately benefit. While you're trying to save, while they telling you save $400 a month, eat, eat cheaper, don't travel, don't do this, don't buy your $5 Starbucks coffee. You know what? They're telling you to cut back. They're literally making 9 times the money that you're borrowing. So that's what it is. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? So remember when we said set clear intention, and then during the day, 2 things? Does anybody remember? My God. If at least one person remembers, it means I am not talking just to myself. So set the intention, practice mindfulness, regulate emotion. Practice mindfulness, regulate emotion. Everything that happens is okay. Don't let 3D rattle you. Where are you now? Where's your mind right now? I am still struggling with the idea that I am God of my bubble and that everything is an illusion. You don't have to have that idea. I never have that idea. I think you are responsible for what unfolds and for what you're putting out there. Like the output is dependent on your input. So I take responsibility for that, but also understanding I exist in a higher structure where there is an actual creator. There is this universe game machine, right? The universe is the interface between us and the creator. And then we exist in this neutral machine where the output is determined by our input, but it's by our input individually and by our input as a collective. And this is why, pay attention now, huge concept. This is why how you let 3D affect you will determine if you're mostly inputting from you, your spirit and what you want, or from the collective. So if I'm watching the world, if I'm getting emotionally involved in the world, if I'm seeing the war, the election process, the this, the that, the climate change, if that's what I'm observing, that my input for my own reality comes from the collective consciousness. The collective consciousness is negative and it's going more negative. And so my life will reflect that. If my input is coming from mostly me, mostly my desires, mostly my mental imagery of a future that I want, mostly, I'm saying you're not going to be able to do 100%, but if it's mostly coming from this, then my life would unfold mostly from this. Lily, I don't know what you should do with your money. I don't give financial advice. I've explained to you how the monetary system works, but I will not give financial advice on specific questions like this. Be in the world and not of it. Yeah, exactly. And when you see this kind of thing, disasters, or decide what you're going to do about it. Decide, am I going to help or am I not going to help? If I'm going to help, I'm going to focus on it while I help and then move on. Okay? Send money, write petitions to governors and senators and presidents. Do whatever you need to do to feel like this cause matters to me and I have helped. But once you've done that, you got to move on. You alone are not going to fix anything. The collective is more negative? Yeah, I don't think you needed me to tell you that. Do you find that the collective is positive? How would you leave your job to start your business? Manny, I'm going to tell you how I did it. The year was 2014. I had a nice corporate job, but it was just killing me. And I was like, if only I had $50,000 in my savings account, which I didn't. I know exactly what I would do. I would start my business and I would do this and this exact thing, but I don't have $50,000. So if I can manifest it, I will do it. If I can't manifest it, I will not do it. I will not leave my job. And I kid you not, in the spring of 2015, so only a few months after this, they laid me off. I was working there for like 8.5 years. They laid me off. They gave me a package that was net $52,000. And I had to execute on my intention. And I implemented a 3D business with that money, and it worked out for me. So sometimes you don't need to think about how you're going to quit your job. The job will quit you. What you got to think is, what do I need to start my new business? And if as a resource, you actually need a specific resource, the universe will give it to you if you mean it. But here's the trick. When you get it, you have to do with it what you said you would do. If you don't do with it what you said you would do, you'll never receive it again. Goddess, that's exactly what happened to you? Yeah, it happens to a lot of people exactly like that. Because sometimes we don't have the strength. We don't have the strength to quit existing structures that are bad for us. You know, we had a family acquaintance that was in a terrible marriage. I mean, it wasn't terrible. He wasn't beating her or anything, but it was just like, you know, she didn't have the heart to leave him. They were sleeping in, you know, separate parts of the house. The kids were grown, but she's like, I can't leave him. You know, I can't. Eventually, you know, she found out he was cheating on her anyways for years. So she got rid of him. Then she didn't have any guilt and shame because she put this thing out there. I want to leave him, but I can't because of my guilt and shame. Well, the universe made a way for him to leave her. It's the same with the jobs. You can't hang on to structures that don't work, guys. Sooner or later, they're going to disintegrate. So save your time. Let's see if I missed anything. The job will quit you. Yeah, you don't need to worry about quitting your job. You don't need to worry. Yeah, it was really difficult for me to think I'm going to quit this job. And, you know, I was making good money. I was making close to like 150. It was like, it's not easy to be like, hey, when you're making like 30 grand a year, maybe it's easy, right? But all of a sudden to replace the 150, it's hard. How does one get to the point of setting an intention in life? Yeah, it's a little bit of a sad question, isn't it? That we live our lives with no intention. We just tippy-toe through life, hoping we make it safely to death. I heard Bob Proctor say that. It always stayed with me. So most people tippy-toe through life, you know, careful not to make too many mistakes, to make it safely to death. They don't have any intention. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever, I have no idea. Will I get married or not? I don't know. Will I, you know, ever do what I like to do? I don't know. I just got to get through today. So most people, this is how they function. You know, to get to the point to set an intention. Think about that. Think about the implication of that question. That means you don't even think that your life belongs to you, that you could actually do what you want in life. You don't even know what you want because you weren't taught to think this way. You weren't taught to think with you at the center. You were taught to think I exist and things unfold and I need to cater to these things that unfold. Just survivor mode, yeah. Just trying to get by. You tippy-toe. Hope you make it safely to death. That's all. Go to work. Hope you have enough money for rent. Well, what do you want? I don't know. And you want to get married? I guess if it happens, I don't know. Thoughts, feelings, mental imagery. That's where you stay. You got to go beyond the surface level thinking. Guys, matter has actual intelligence. And the way you're able to manifest things, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I talked about this before, but your consciousness actually interacts with the intelligence of matter. Because matter has its own intelligence. It's not human intelligence. But if matter had no intelligence, your consciousness could not tickle it. It could not stimulate it such that it would happen to you. Right? So you gotta treat all matter as if it has intelligence. And your reaction to it is very important. And remember, you don't know the how, and you're not actually doing anything except setting your intention, getting coherent, which means the two things I said: practice mindfulness and don't let 3D rattle you. Practice emotional resilience. The guy ghosts you, advantage. Advantage. I'm one step closer to meeting my husband because this guy didn't waste too much of my time. Anything happens, advantage. Right? Now, I want everybody on this live to just take a minute right now to have one realization as to where your emotional resilience is most tested these days. Where do you find that you can't control your emotion? When what happens? Put it here as a comment. Let's see. Where does it kind of happen that you don't have emotional resilience? Your health and finances, more specifically. When you feel like I'm breaking down when I'm thinking of this. I'm breaking down when my husband yells at me. My boss is rattling me. When I check my bank account, I get etc. When others reject me. Yeah. When I get unwell. When you get physically unwell, you mean, Lisa. Remember, you're not doing the healing. When I check the 3D, everything's not working. When I'm not appreciated in what I do. When my husband tells me how to parent. When I feel not chosen. All of this. All of this, the reverse of this, are your affirmations that you need to work on. I am chosen. Everybody sees how I'm a great parent. When my SP pays more attention to other people than me. This one with the SP is because you pay more attention to what he pays attention versus paying attention to you. Do you understand that? If I pay enough attention to me, I have no idea what he pays attention to. But I know whether or not he pays attention to me. Because I know whether my needs are met or not. And if my needs are not met, he's gone. That's the difference of choosing yourself. So I don't know. If he spends 90% of his waking day on me, or of his, obviously not his work time, but of his waking day on me, then if he doesn't need to sleep at night and he can spend those 8 hours worrying about other people, I guess I will never know and I will never ask myself. Somebody tells me I am toxic, so I'll block them so they don't have to endure me. All right. When you realize you're not in your feminine, also something that is up to you. You need to spend the time. See, people think it's easy. When I tell you guys, this is simple, but it's not easy. I get so much criticism. Why are you complicating things? Because it's not easy. Can you snap your fingers and get into your feminine? Of course not. Of course not. After years of being in the masculine, of being forced to provide for yourself, to protect yourself, to take care of all the plants, to do everything on your own, can you snap your fingers and become feminine? It doesn't mean you can't become feminine. It means it's work. You know, I love when people have this realizations on my lives. That's the reasons I do this lives. Is like I also get a lot out of it. You know, I get a lot out of people write to me and people tell me, you changed my mind about X and Y. I was able to do this and this and that. And, you know, it means a lot to be able to do this contribution. So I hope you guys are deriving value out of it. Thank you so much for watching the live and everything. I want to see if there's anything else. We have 5 more minutes. I go for an hour if you have any more questions. You gotta remember the exercise we did in the beginning of this live. Like, if these are the contents of your mind, okay, where is the virus? Right? If you like everything around you, everything that unfolds, you have no virus. But if in your particular bubble, like somebody says, There's X and Y that bothers you constantly. That's where the virus is. So you're looking, open your eyes and look around you. But look through the eyes of a programmer looking for the bug in the system. Who is it? What is it? What is the situation that repeats on a loop that you got to get to the bottom of? You got to get to the bottom of why this thing keeps happening over and over in all your relationships, in all your jobs, in your money situation. You never have, like at the end of the month, you never have enough. Doesn't matter how much money you've manifested, it's all gone. It's all a loop, right? That's where the virus is. So go with this, do all the practices that I described, be part of our group, do all this, and you need to sort of tune into this thread of understanding, to be like, it's here now, my sleep, now my, thank you, now my, I need to dream about this. Ask questions. Generational sin. Don't think too much about your generational sin. There is something to it, but don't think of it too much. You can override everything. Let's see. Intention, mindfulness, emotional resilience. Remember, everything that bothers you right now, it's either a boundary you violated. Remember when I asked you, what is it that bothers you right now, your emotional resilience? It's either a boundary you violated, or it's a lesson you must learn. Not the person who says how my husband tells me how to parent. Which one is it? Is it a boundary you have allowed to happen, like this loop? Or is it a lesson, the universe trying to tell you something? I realize my fear of my parent keeps me tethered to my old identity, Mona. Yeah, some people have this problem. I coach, so a lot of grown women have an unnatural attachment to their mother's idea of them. I don't know if you mean your mother or your father, but it's really unnatural. I coach like women in their 40s who have this, 50s, but my mother said, I'm like, your mother who's like 72 years old, like she lived in a different world. She's giving you advice based on her criticism, based on her programs. She lived in a different era. The hold that a parent can have over you it can completely destroy you, honestly, if you let it. And if you become aware of it, sometimes you can't do anything about it except distance yourself physically and, not interact with them. That sounds odd. That does sound odd. Well, it happens. It happens. I'm telling you, their mother opinion and program, because remember, like 80% of our thoughts aren't even our own. And it depends on the influence that your mother or father or family community had on you. The majority of thoughts you think come from there. They don't come from your original thought of you interpreting the world. A person wouldn't be capable of being born, let's say you're born in a world with no people, and be able to formulate this kind of thought or have this kind of talk that I'm having right now, even if somehow they could express themselves in a language or English. They would not, because these concepts, you can't learn. One lifetime is not enough to learn all these concepts. 80% of this come from other people, from what is taught to us. Our parents are like our first gods. Wow, that's beautifully said. Yeah, we just, later in life, we got to decide if we're still worshiping the same gods or not. Just like we do with religion, isn't it? We decide which gods to worship in our grown life. It's incredible. You really, like, this work is all about the wound that this person had, who said about her mother, could be extremely different from the next person, but they all want the same thing. They're all like, why can't I meet anyone? Why am I always rejected? Why am I not married? But they have different wounds and they need to work on different threads. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a one solution fits all. The answer is you set the intention, practice mindfulness, emotional resilience, while all at the same time reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's work, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it, guys. You can completely turn your life around. When is my next live? I'm always live Mondays at the same time, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. p.m. And all my lives are posted on my YouTube channel. Okay, guys, let's put our hands together. I end all my lives with the tapping. The 369, 3 times, 6 times, and 9 times. I use the affirmation, I am a winner. If you want, you can do it with me. Otherwise, you can drop the live because I turn off the live right after this. One breath in if you want to participate. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.